Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I am sitting in my floor. I just filmed a different video for you guys. I told my husband a few weeks ago, I was like, you know, I'd really like to film kind of a stream of consciousness vlog. Basically, where I just sit down and prattle on whatever comes out of my head. I just think it would be fun to talk to you guys. You know, a lot of times I'm sharing information or things are a little more serious or, you know, whatever, but I just want to sit down and talk. I have no notes. I have no idea. I'm just going to start talking and we're going to see where this goes. And we're going to see if you guys like this. So it's not going to be anything to see. So if you want to put your headphones on and just listen while you're doing something else, then you can keep me company. So I'm going to start off by saying the one thing I did want to mention was today is, as I'm filming this, January 2nd. So obviously we just had New Year's. And I thought about making a separate video about this, and it didn't occur to me to do it, and it didn't occur to me soon enough to make it into a video before I actually needed to do it. But my family and I, every year for the last, I don't know, 6 years or so, we do a time capsule every New Year's Eve. Basically, it's just a list of questions, usually the same ones that you answer at the end of every year. You put them in a tube or a box, and then you put it away, get it out, and you guys know what a time capsule is. But basically, it's just the questions. It's not like stuff. And so you answer the questions, and it's really fun too if you've got kids because some of the stuff that they say changes so drastically from year to year. So that's one of our traditions that we do on New Year's. This year was no exception. I added a prayer time capsule to, nobody else did it, it was just something I did on my own. And so basically I typed up pretty much every prayer that I have for every person in my life that I typically pray for, people that I know that I need to pray for. But I really spent time with each person in my life, prayers that I have specific for those people. And then I have myself in there as well, because that's okay. I did myself last, I will say. I did everybody else first, and I got to me and I was like, okay, what are my prayers for myself? But I don't know. I think it'll be really interesting. You know, put it in the envelope, mark it as private, and then put it in that same box with the time capsule. And that'll be something that I open up, that I personally open up on New Year's Eve 2024. Or no, 2025. Sorry, my brain hasn't moved ahead yet. So New Year's Eve 2025, I will personally open that up and read it and see like how many, I want to look back and I want to see what God has done. Are there specific prayers that I had that he answered? Are there specific prayers that I had that are still unanswered? Are there prayers that I had at the time that now no longer are even an issue? Like, just really, I want to be able to look back and maybe document better seeing God work in my life. And I've had this happen before by accident through finding like old letters and diary entries and things like that. I've seen this has already happened to me before where I've done this by accident, but I was like, I want to do it on purpose. I want to put every prayer that I can think of, every problem we're having, everything we want to happen with this person or that person, and really see what God does. And so that was something that I think, again, would be a great thing for you to do either as a family or individually, but I added that to our New Year's Eve traditions this year, and I think it's just, I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to see what God does for us in 2025. And I don't know, guys, I've just been struggling a lot lately with the different things that have been going on, and I don't want to get like super emotional or moody about it, but you know, if you've followed me for a while, or especially the last couple of videos, you know, my mom is sick. She's been sick now since the summer of 2024, so that's been a big deal. One thing I didn't tell you guys is that my husband actually lost his job a week and a half before Christmas. So as I'm filming this, he is not working right now, and if you know, he's our main, like 99% of what we have comes from him. I do make some money from my YouTube channel, but it's definitely not enough to live on. Our health insurance was through his work, and then he also got a free car to drive through his work. So a week and a half before Christmas, he lost his job, we lost our health insurance and a car. So right now he's not working. We're trying to figure out the health insurance thing. I was just filming a video a minute ago and I had to stop because I got a phone call in the, you know, middle of the video from somebody, like we're trying to get different health insurance. And if you know anything about COBRA insurance, which is basically what you can get offered after you get laid off or whatever, it's basically a continuation of the group health insurance that you had, but it's also a lot more money. And so if we continue on with COBRA, it's going to be more than what we pay for our house. So think about that for a second. This is health insurance. that most of the time, I mean, you need it, you should have it, but most of the time you don't use it. It's really for those times when you're like, man, I'm really glad I had it. But for the most part, you pay for it every single month and don't use it. And that money that you're paying that you pretty much aren't gonna use, hopefully, is more than you pay for the place that you live and you raise your family. That's just crazy to me. You know, it's just a messy situation, and right before Christmas, you know, there's never a good time. You know, people will always say, well, that's a bad place to break down. Is there a good place to break down? But I know what they mean. Like, there are worse places to break down, and there are better places to break down, and there are better times to lose your job than right before Christmas. So, and especially with everything else that was going on with my mom's health and like all the stuff. So it's just been a very unpleasant process. I don't feel sorry for us. I mean, it's unfortunate and I hate it, and it's worrisome and it's stressful, and there's a lot of moving parts that you have to figure out what to do with all at once. File for unemployment because he didn't do anything wrong. The company just sold. It's not that he's not eligible for unemployment. It's just for whatever reason, it's taking forever. Oh, also, if you notice that I'm not wearing my wedding ring, I know some people notice stuff like that. I most of the time don't wear it, and that's gonna sound awful, but it's because I go to the gym pretty much every day and I don't wear my wedding ring to the gym. I can't stand the feeling of it pressing against my finger when I'm using weights. And it's who's looking at my ring finger at the gym? Like, and if they are, I don't know, but I mean, like, I'm not there to like be like, marry all you guys who are like, no, who cares if I'm married or not? So I don't wear it most of the time. And I thought the other day, I was like, did I have my ring on? Because I thought on video, I was like, if I don't have it on, somebody's probably gonna say, well, they're, you know, whatever. But I should wear it, I know, but I don't. Did I tell you guys that we got a new bird? Okay, oh, the bunny. I didn't tell you about the bunny either. Okay, and I'm gonna get hate probably for this too, because somebody's gonna say, you shouldn't get a pet if you don't wanna take care of it. Well, that's not why we got rid of the bunny that we had. If you watched any of my videos last year, we got a bunny. And I feel like, yes, it was we had a guinea pig prior to her, and so we were like, okay, well, let's do a bunny, because if a guinea pig is a step up from a hamster, then a rabbit is a step up from a guinea pig as far as like intelligence, interaction, all that stuff. And so the girls wanted a rabbit, and so we got a rabbit. Well, this is my fault because I let them talk me into getting them a rabbit, and I didn't do enough research or think through the fact that I know rabbits need exercise. But the way our house is set up, like, we could let her out to let her run around, but then there was places that we had to block her out from, and we couldn't block her out from those places without also blocking the dog from being able to go to the bathroom and getting his food and water. And we couldn't leave his food and water out for him because she would eat his stuff. So like, there was nowhere for her to be able to run around and play. And I'm not gonna keep this bunny in the cage or the hutch, because she had both. I'm not gonna keep her in those two environments most of the day, because that's not what bunnies need exercise, and she couldn't get it here. And that was not fair to her. And you know, bunnies can live a long time, and I thought, I'm not gonna make this bunny stay in this cage all the time, or this hutch. So we found a family that already had bunnies. They actually are a rehab family, so they have animals. They rehab like squirrels and stuff outside. And they said they would take Piper. So I felt like I was gonna do the responsible thing for her. And even though I basically wasted money because I bought the bunny and all the stuff for her, I gave them all the stuff, the hutch, the cage, the food, the hay, the rabbit, like all the stuff that we'd bought, and I gave her to them because I knew she would have a better life. They had it set up already where their other bunny could run around, and so she would have a playmate and she would be able to get the exercise she needed. So we do not have the bunny anymore. So if anybody's gonna complain about that, probably. But yes, I jumped into getting a bunny, but I felt like I also made the responsible decision of finding her a good home, not just dropping her off at a shelter or, you know, letting her live in a cage all of her life. I felt like it was the better choice for her. But anyway, I can't remember if you guys remember Ducky, our canary that we had rescued him from the pet store. And I say rescued from the pet store because he was being abused by the pet store. Most of the time you hear rescue, you think, oh, I got it at the pound or whatever. No, this poor thing was being abused by the pet store. And so we didn't even want or need a canary on it was not even on our radar. I don't want to tell the story because he's got his own video. I'll try to remember to link it about why we saved him and his life. So we ended up having to have him put to sleep the day after Mother's Day. 2023. I love songbirds. Like, we have a parakeet, and he's my oldest daughter. She loves him, and he's her child, and he stays in her room. Like, so I love him, but he's not a songbird. You know, like the birds you hear outside that actually have a pretty song. I love that. One of my biggest joys in life is hearing birds outside, except for crows and blue jays. I know they can't help it, but their songs are awful and they scream. But besides that, after Ducky, I was like, I want to get another canary, and I know this canary is not going to be like Ducky. There's no canary that I can imagine being like him. He did not fit any of the typical canary behaviors. Most of the time, canaries don't like people. They're a very look and don't touch bird, and that is 100% how Zippy is. He doesn't like to even be looked at. Honestly, if you look at him too close, he's you know, he gets nervous and like squeaks. We got Zippy in spring of 2024. So I love him. He's very much mine, pretty much, which Ducky was too. It's a little different because he doesn't like to be touched. He gets extremely stressed out if you even take him to get his nails done, like trimmed. That's coming up for him, and I hate that for him because I'm like, his life would be so much easier if he would just relax and let somebody pick him up without flailing around and getting hurt in the process trying to get away. That's really sad. I hate that for him. My camera's getting ready to cut off again because it only records in 16-minute increments. So I feel like it's probably enough time to talk. I don't know how boring this would be. I don't know. Hopefully you're not terribly bored. If you're still here, I guess you must not have been. So you guys let me know. I know this is like algorithm wise, like I don't know where to fit this in with the content that I make. It's not really I don't really know what to call it. I guess you'll figure it out once I actually get the thumbnail and the title made. At this point, I don't really know what to call it. I don't really know if you guys are gonna like this, just me talking. But I really wanna hopefully show you guys more of me and see what it means, like how it will be accepted. And if it will be accepted, and if you guys enjoy it, and if it maybe feels like you have a friend to talk to, because I think over my entire life, I've found different outlets of people to listen to, because it really just makes you feel connected to somebody. I don't know. I mean, I guess comfort is really the best word I can think of in other people who you don't know. And then of course, fast forward a lot of time and YouTube came in, and now I have realized even more how we have comfort YouTubers. Have you heard that term? Like people that you watch, even if you're not necessarily interested in what they're talking about, or they're not in the same stage of life as you at all, but for whatever reason you're drawn to them. I do that a lot. Like most of the people that I watch on YouTube, most of them, not all of them, are not even in the same like generation as me. They're barely older than my oldest daughter. Like, I find a lot of comfort and inspiration in that. And I think it's probably because I just had this epiphany. Maybe this is why. Because I'm at that weird stage of life where I am middle-aged, but I'm also trying to figure out who I want to be going into the second half of my life. Do I want to stay the person that I was? In some ways, yes, I do. And some of those things I can just tweak and make them better, hopefully. But in other ways, I don't want to be the person that I've been the last 44 years. I want to do something different and change and challenge myself and improve myself and grow and learn and experience. And that's kind of what I've been trying to do these last couple years especially. And I wonder if the reason I'm so drawn to a lot of these 20s YouTubers is because they're in that stage of life, but they're in the beginning part of it. They're in their 20s trying to figure out who they are, what they want to go into, what they want to bring into adulthood. Very much trial and error, figuring out life. It's kind of what I'm doing, 20 years or so beyond their age. And maybe that's why, because being in your 20s can very much feel like being midlife as far as the mental aspect of it, I think. You guys let me know if any of you guys are close to my age. So hopefully I can be that for you guys. I know a lot of you all have told me over the years that I am that for you, which is surprising because I just feel like I'm just the most boring person on the planet, pretty much. I think I'm funny though. Like, I'm pretty funny. It's not the kind of thing where I can just stand here and be funny on my own. Like, I'm not a stand-up comedian, but I think I'm hilarious. I have some of the best like puns you've ever heard. I am the queen of dad jokes, even though I'm a mom. Like, I'm just hilarious. I crack myself up all the time. And my mom thinks I'm hilarious, but I'm like, well, but doesn't everybody's mom think they're hilarious? I don't know. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed spending some time with me today. I know it's really chatty. Hopefully you weren't too bored. If you're still awake, thanks for staying with me this whole time. If you're not already part of my YouTube channel family, make sure you subscribe and hang around. We would love to have you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.